lap. Sí, empezamos.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Darío y junto con Cosijoesa somos el colectivo Los Tlacolulocos.
And together with Cosijoesa, we are the Tlacalocos.
Somos un colectivo que se basa en diferentes disciplinas como pintura, video, edición de audio, arte objeto.
We actually work in different mediums. We paint, we work in video, and we work in audio as well. So it's not just graphic arts, but multiple kinds of art that work together in this collective.
Comenzamos a partir de 2007, 2008.
We started in 2007, 2008.
Nos conocíamos desde los acontecimientos del 2006 y había la inquietud de realizar algo.
We got to know each other in 2006 and the movement in 2006, so out of that experience, we had this desire to create something together.
Veíamos que la producción artística en Oaxaca con el tema del movimiento se estaba estereotipando y estaba cayendo como en una idealización.
And from our point of view, we thought that the artwork coming out of the social movement was becoming sort of stereotyped, narrow, and idealized, and we wanted to put some other kind of art out there.
Entonces decidimos contrarrestar un poco esta producción tan idealizada, haciendo un poco de crítica hacia la crítica que hacían ellos.
So we decided actually to be critical of the criticism that the other movement artists were making, and really try to put something, I don't know, that sort of pushed the envelope a little more.
Fue que comenzamos a producir un poco de piezas alejándonos de la producción tradicional que hay en Oaxaca.
So we came up with kinds of pieces with elements, also sculpture, that work with different elements that would really distinguish us from what we saw as this kind of stereotype movement art that had evolved.
Decidimos quitar el color, decidimos abordar temas más políticos.
We decided to get rid of working in color. We decided to work with very overt, bold political themes.
Visiones un poco más radicales de lo que fue el movimiento del 2006.
We wanted to put out what we were thought even more radical visions than what was in that art.
Desde la militarización hasta la ideología de todas las personas que participamos en el movimiento, no idealizamos a nadie.
So, from militarization to all the people who participated in the movement, we didn't sort of romanticize it. We didn't idealize anybody. In other words, no one in the movement or out of it was sort of beneath being commented on or criticized. It was all open. Les puedo hacer un comentario because in many ways, people inside the movement, there was not a lot of space to be self-critical.
La visión que está plasmada un poco en la obra es una visión un poco más de la gente que participó en una forma muy violenta, no buscando interés político, sino buscando la violencia.
¿De quién hablas? ¿De los que estaban en el movimiento? Okay. He's saying like some of the people who participated in the movement were there just for the sort of confrontation and the conflict, maybe some of the anarchists, some of the other groups of people.
Rescatando un poco ese discurso de la violencia y de atacarlos también a ellos en la forma que ellos nos atacan. No decir que nosotros somos buenos, porque también tenemos actitudes muy violentas y con esas confrontamos al Estado.
So we thought it was important to comment. I mean, the state committed a lot of violence, but there also were, there were people who answered back with violence or, not with their hands in the air. So we wanted to also comment on that. We wanted to be able to comment on that going on inside the movement, not just comment on state repression.
Simpatizamos mucho con las ideologías anarquistas de liberación, de igualdad, de equidad, y por lo tanto también ocupamos lo que tenemos a la mano para participar, desde una pintura hasta una acción directa.
So we have a lot of sympathies for egalitarianism, for anarchism, for sort of horizontal relationships, and for different ways of participating in movements. There's not one path.
Entonces, lo que está plasmado aquí es un rescate de nuestras tradiciones, pero con una violencia hacia los que nos las quieren quitar o hacia quien las quiere erradicar.
So one of the things that we put into our art is the idea that we want to recuperate our traditions, you know, sort of all the indigenous symbols that you see, but that we're defending them, right? And we're sort of defending them if we need to with force against those who would take them away from us.
Es un poco lo que se trata de rescatar y se trata de crear un registro de la gente que participa en los movimientos por una ideología, por su persona y sin buscar algún bien económico, político o material.
So we're also trying to sort of document the different kinds of people who participate in the movement, why they're there, y que ellos participan no por un bien económico, ustedes o los dos.
Pues los que no lo hacemos por eso, los que participamos en los movimientos.
Okay, so it's saying we're trying to make what do you call it? Un registro, like a record, a social record, a historical record of different people who participated in this movement, not because they wanted, you know, to gain things economically, but for political reasons, to sort of show the breadth of what there is.
Estas ideologías anarquistas nos han llevado a hacer todo de una forma autodidacta, de una forma autogestiva, sin necesidad de requerir apoyos de instituciones o del
So one of the
gobierno.
things about not only our philosophy, which is, I mentioned, is heavily influenced by anarchism, but we also feel really strongly that we're self-supporting. We haven't accepted any help from outside NGOs, from the government, from other people. Everything we do, we we figure out how to do it ourselves. We support it ourselves.
Comulgamos con el hazlo tú mismo y tratamos de llevar esa ideología a diferentes personas para que se den cuenta que con lo poco que tenemos podemos hacer mucho y sin la necesidad de tener una ayuda oficial, como una especie de autoorganización real.
So it's really a form of autonomy, I don't know, in indigenous communities it's called sovereignty, but the word autonomy or autonomía is used in a lot of different senses in terms of being self-supporting, of learning how to work with what you have and trying to make that be enough to make whatever project it is that you have kind of function.
Son muestras también de cómo en nuestro país vecino, el país de ustedes, se mezclan las culturas con las tradiciones de aquí y el orgullo con lo que ellos lo portan allá.
So one of the things we also try to show here is the way, por la migración, okay, through migration, how the traditions and the cultures that we have here also get mixed with what you all have in your country and come together really in los cuerpos, in the bodies of people. So some of the, like we were talking about, the tattoos and the sort of mixture of what you might think of as non-traditional with, I don't know what you're going to call it, modern US or modern Mexico, but that's what bodies look like, and that these traditions come together and people sort of manifest physically.
La influencia que tiene también los migrantes en los pueblos de Tlacolula, como a donde fueron.
Right, and one of the things we also try to document is, you know, the importance of migrants in their communities. Even if they're not there, there's still a heavy influence in the communities. Like in Tlapasola where you were, there's a lot of migration that really matters, and in all the towns that are in, Tlacolula is a district capital, so all the municipalities and the smaller agencias, or sort of hamlets in this area have very heavy migration. So the experience, the culture, all of that comes back here and plays a role in communities and families and in life, in daily life.
Es también el orgullo y la violencia de cómo defendemos nuestra identidad aquí o también en el país vecino, como las pandillas.
And there's also, you know, an element of violence in the sense of how we defend our identities, but also in the way that people have to kind of defend their identities in the US, whether they're seen as cholos. There's a lot of different kinds of gangs. You know, they're not all, you know, not all criminal organizations, but they often get read that way and treated that way. A lot of violence against gang members or suspected gang members in the US.
Es ese orgullo que aún se mantiene allá y que se mantiene vivo, pues gracias también a lo que se hace en México y la nostalgia que ellos tienen de estar ahí.
So we also want to really recognize we're really proud of our culture, of who we are, and also how people maintain that in the United States. That they kind of defend those cultural spaces in the U.S.
Y tampoco idealizándonos a nosotros como pueblos, sino tratando de ser cambiantes y ser pensantes para un mejor desarrollo, por ejemplo.
The other thing that we try to do is not romanticize the idea of tradition in our communities, but be open to change and be able to be critical of our own communities, you know, the problems that there might be, and not sort of see our communities as, you know, stuck in the past in this idealized kind of way.
Todos como pueblos tenemos la obligación de cambiar y creo que con el arte y con un poco de violencia podemos hacer muchas cosas que nos hagan reflexionar a todos acerca de nuestro contexto actual.
So we feel, you know, that we need to change, and that with the conscience and with a little bit of violence, we can make that kind of change. ¿En qué sentido de violencia? No
pues,
sé por qué. No,
como
no.
autodefensa.
Okay, I asked him violence in what sense, and he said it's self-defense. That's the sense he's talking about. I think it's not so much violence, but not being passive. You know, sort of being active subjects and defending what's yours, what's your culture, and not just lying down and let somebody, you know, running over you, in that sense.
El trabajo se trata de mostrar un poco incluyente hacia todos los sectores. Somos personas que pues crecimos un poco en la calle, que hemos sufrido discriminación, hemos sufrido cosas, y es como que tratar de incluir a todos en esto.
So we try to include all kinds of different faces and images in our art. A lot of us have suffered discrimination, some of us have lived on the street, and we try to incorporate and dignify all those different kinds of people in our art.
Dignificarnos también como pueblos, por eso el nombre, y no escogimos otro nombre, dignificarnos como territorio y como identidad.
We also try to dignify ourselves by recognizing our place name. That's why we chose the name of our community, Tlacolula, Tlacolocos, but we recognize that place. So we're dignifying the place, we're dignifying the territory, the indigenous territory of Tlacolula, and dignifying our identity, really because of, you know, the indigenous, the reference to the place, the identity, the territory, that all is sort of tied up together, and that's why we centered that in the name that we chose.
Tenemos también en YouTube videos que muestran un poco la visión de las tradiciones, pero una visión desde dentro, no la visión idealizada.
So I'm sure everyone understood YouTube. We have some videos on YouTube that also express the way we see our identity. So you can Google YouTube and Tlacolocos and look at their videos. Great resources for class too.
Exploramos un poco la visión detrás de la fiesta.
We also look, and some of these are, you know, some of their video production. Also, in terms of exploring some of the ideas behind fiestas, you know, kind of what's going on there, not just the performance piece that you see like in the Guelaguetza. You may notice numerous elements from the Guelaguetza, like the danzantes, and some of the other things where they're kind of questioning that and, you know, playing with that. The dancers.
De eso nos va a hablar el protagonista que está
Okay. Okay, now José Cabeza. Buenas tardes.
Del video. Bueno, los videos se dividen en dos etapas.
So we're going to talk about the video production. This is the other piece of what they do, not just the visual art. There's two kinds of videos, two stages, dos etapas. Two stages of
Una etapa es que es el proceso creativo y el proceso técnico de los murales o la pintura.
Right. So in our video production, we have sort of the technical aspect of it, and then we also have the creative aspect, which is the creation of the murals, some of which you've been looking at, which gets incorporated into the video.
Y el otro es la etapa de video documental, producción de los procesos culturales de Tlacolula.
We also, in addition to producing videos about art and art creation and identity, we also produce videos about traditions in Tlacolula, in our community, documentaries.
Entonces estos pequeños documentales narran la cuestión política, social y cultural.
So these short documentaries we make are about political economy questions and sort of cultural questions in our community.
Entonces, ese es el concepto principal de Tlajolulocos, como que ver la visión no turística de nuestro pueblo.
So we try to also sort of document the non-touristic part of daily life in our community and the reality, not for the part that's not for touristic consumption, the kind of daily life.
De una forma superficial o solamente económica, vendible.
What we're trying not to do is produce documentaries that people will consume or want to buy in the sense of they're kind of a tourist. We're working against a sort of tourist video product.
Sino tratar de dar la visión esa, ¿no? Que nuestra visión real de lo que consideramos que es nuestra tradición, lo que es parte de nuestro proceso.
So what we try to do is really put out an honest look at what we consider our traditions to be, not the sort of, commercialized version.
Entonces este contenido ha sido un poco criticado por nuestra misma comunidad.
And because we work this way, we've been criticized by our fellow citizens here in Tlacolula, some of them.
Porque se tiene una visión que piensan que es solamente lo feo, lo...
Some of them tell us that they think that our documentaries only show like the ugly side of life.
Entonces, como nosotros comprendemos cómo es nuestra situación actual en nuestro pueblo, es una manera de reflejarlo.
And we take that in, but we feel like it's really important to be honest, that there are hard things and we need to kind of show daily life as it is. That's part of what's here. Right.
Entonces la narrativa es eso, ¿no? La contracultura y las nuevas tendencias de la juventud.
A lot of our work focuses on culture and sort of youth innovations, youth culture, things that young people are doing. ¿Cómo se podría decir?
Pues
bueno, por ejemplo, ¿qué?
Estamos hablando de los jóvenes, ¿no?
Sí, de los jóvenes.
Entonces, ahorita un ejemplo claro es esta Guelaguetza, ¿no? Como que la delegación que representa Tlacolula